Hey Brutal, hey Alex, welcome. Well, basically listing the needed changes. That's what we'll do, is go through the list and see what we can fix right away and what will require more extensive rework. I wanted to do this after there are some major updates, but the devs don't seem too optimistic that we'll get a lot of the more revolutionary things in until much later, so no point waiting. Some of the stuff needs to be fixed. Just picking up some soundtracks we'll play as we do the map making, because if I listen to the editor music for more than 5 consecutive minutes, I will be driven permanently and irreversibly insane. 3D damage simulator. I mean, it's not as bad as the code mines, I don't think. But it definitely doesn't contribute to your mental health. Start with this, so welcome people. We'll be doing some editor stuff. Yay, everyone loves that, right? Well, not necessarily. However, it's something that needs to be done, and I might as well stream it, because, well, why suffer alone, right? Misery loves company. Let's see. I need to get the latest unstable build, so that this version I'm gonna build is compatible with, you know, everyone else's version. Because I currently run the testing build and it won't work. So, just give me a sec. Then I'll have a list of things to go through. And plus I have some other notes. I have notes in like 2 places, which isn't ideal. But we should be able to get the information I need quite easily. Hopefully. Been diligently putting down notes for what needs to be done. Plus, we'll probably go out of our way to do a couple extra changes if possible. Drop this in here. Okay, version should be ready. It's gonna play music, but I'm gonna shut it off. Hopefully that's open. No, it's getting extremely crowded on my monitor right now. I have OBS with the chat, I've got C3, I need my Discord as well. Looks like we'll be starting with Masilia, very likely. I'm gonna have to... Yeah, let's go into campaigns. The Conquered campaign. Scenario. Take everything that's here. What is docks? Nothing, okay. It's gonna be a mess. I need to make sure that the version I'm gonna use is the same that has been backed up, basically. The slight problem with that is that some maps are saves due to how stuff had to be done. I don't know if it still is like that. I haven't made any maps in a while. My assumption is that it is, so I'm gonna just exclude all the save games because we can just rebuild those from scratch and we will need to do so. Exclude all the save games. Take this, put it into scenario folder. Well, I have the most up-to-date version anyway. Okay, right, makes sense. Why is there a save in here though? Doesn't make any sense. Let's delete these. These don't belong here in this folder. Okay, so as far as I can see, we have the most up-to-date version. Community folder should be updated as well. So, what is on the great list of changes? First thing we need to do is go straight to the last mission. I could leave it for the last, but I feel like we should just go through the list one by one until nothing remains. That's the best way to handle that, and let's make that happen. So Masilia has a broken event. Plus, there's another thing. If you remember, when we were testing this, what happened with this was that the enemies were using the highway and they busted through the forts, they passed through them, while they shouldn't. Oh, what is this? Am I missing assets or something? No. What is this? Oh, it's trees. It's shrubs. Okay, what is that? River entry, okay. Everything else seems to be in place. What about native stuff? Oh yeah, we got some new stuff. Hut, alternative. Got some new natives. As opposed to these guys. Got a center. I'm gonna remove these, I'm just looking at what we have. Got some native monuments. Ah, yeah, monument, there you go. That's a big boy. And a native watchtower, which currently doesn't have a use, but it will have a use eventually. Once the native rework is implemented. So if you want that, please spam Seth with requests. No, he's already tired of it. I keep telling him every time I see him, which is, you know, I feel very reasonable. Okay, we need to think about if I do this, where obviously if we want this to be, you know, not happening, the bug, which the devs said they will not fix because they are waiting on the military work, which is gonna change how the forts work. As a bug with the forts where enemies can pass through, even if there is a viable path, they might take a path through the fort instead, which is gonna become obsolete once the patch drops, but that's like in the future. So for now we need this map to not be as frustrating, because that was frustrating when the natives passed through this fort, and there is nothing you can do to really prevent them from doing that. Yeah, at least there's something, I guess, but that's pretty niche as a use. So why would you build next to the natives for desirability, unless the map is like super cruel and you don't have any source of desirability? So we could put trees here, but that, I feel like that will simplify this map quite a lot, and then make this invasion point even more linear than it already was, which I'm not an extreme fan of. However, there needs to be something done with the forts here, because that does happen, the path through. So we do need to fix that. You can now do cliffs with tiny brush, which is pretty good. Should we? Block this off. Still not convinced. Need to read something. We'll clean up a bit of that then. Not a massive fan of that, but due to the Ford bug, it needs to be cleaned up a little. I need to fix the event. There's an event. Need to find it. There's about 34 events. We need to figure out which one it is. My assumption is it might be one with more conditions. No. These are a lot of the small temple upkeep events, which is not what I'm looking for. Augustus says native decoration +6, native monument +15, which are -10. Okay, so it has some impact. I suspect, does it show on the overlay? I hope it does, because otherwise it could be pretty deceiving. And since you just don't place these, I suspect a lot of people still wouldn't know. These are some repeats. Shows on desirability overlay, but not in the editor. Yeah, I mean, in the editor it makes sense. There's no need for that, really. Except maybe if you really plan every single tile on a map to be somehow covered by that. If the map doesn't have any decoration, maybe then you would want that. This is an event that's tied to that. Yeah, this. Have I already fixed it? I feel like I already fixed it in this version. Because it's supposed to be Brandisium. Let's check the Empire. Brandisium is a future trade city, yes. It's weird because I feel like the event. Oh, maybe. What was it? 7, 6, 6. Okay, somehow it's fixed. I don't know when I fixed this, but apparently it's been fixed. So I'm gonna remove that. Next. Miletus. Unless we want to change something. I don't know. Feel like this island could support a little more in terms of farms. But you can fit decent amount there already. Was there any... I need to remember when I was testing this if I felt like anything was... like super restricted. I don't... oh yeah, this thing. There is a staircase right here, and some people don't know that you can make a road to the side of the staircase, and then they assume, oh, this is blocked because this. No, you can do this, and it works. But since it confuses people, we need to do this. I don't know. I feel like that it's an early game island, and the sheep would be a massive hassle. So I purposefully avoided putting them there, but you know, they do exist. There's sheep. There are sheep here, 2 packs, in fact, and then none on here. But yeah, there was the Autism Island might need a slight expansion. But then people would place the lighthouse not exactly where the Easter egg triggers. But people generally have trouble setting up the lighthouse here. I think only about like 1 in 100 finds out that this is in fact an Easter egg. Because look at the perfect place for the lighthouse, right? Yeah, except if you have nothing else going on in your life. So we could make it more obvious. However, maybe it's fine as it is. It's just perfect, right? It just fits so nicely here. Does it? Yeah, it does. Or here. 2 possible configurations. You can even get like a decorative wall around it because, you know, reasons. Alternatively, making a bridge spot here would allow you to make a better bridge around this. And then go all the way here. And we marked the spots with bridges on this map, so I should put down some. But here I'm gonna leave it to the viewer discretion. They can, player discretion, they can figure it out on their own. I removed a little rock, but making less rocks even would probably not be the greatest thing in the universe. I would have to expand the landmass a little. To be fair though, this island does not look the greatest. So like it could probably use a little bit of an adjustment. Something like, but not necessarily like this. Hope I didn't break any connections with that. This goes this way. Just gonna have a nice little farm here. Don't like that. It looks relatively artificial over here. Nothing extreme, you can fit like 4 extra farms on this spot. Or a warehouse, because that's usually a thing you have to think about a bit. Here is a warehouse spot that usually takes one of the important farms. Now it's slightly larger, nothing crazy, but I think I like when it's like this. To read something. Okay, I'm happy with that change. Now we need to think about the other changes. I feel like the map is relatively simple now with all the possible block spots. We do need to change this, as I said, this needs a change because it throws people off that you can't, well, in fact you can build a road side to the staircase, but a lot of people don't know that, and so we should make it more obvious. And this down lower area, it's not really like it makes a huge difference. If I do connect this, it will simplify the logistics a bit. So let's remove that staircase to encourage this. Could lead to potentially some interesting connections with these two blocks having a single supply hub in the middle, which is a bit of a simplification, but this doesn't have water, so you have to plan for it. And I do like when you have to plan for things. We should clean up the jank a little, but there are sheep upstairs. I don't want those sheep to roam. So let's put down a bit of a forest here. That will do. Now, in regards to clay, usually a lot of people mine clay around here. That's intended, and you should do that. I feel like the amount of clay you can extract here is okay. I could very easily make it larger, but I also have seen people put a block here, for example. So it really depends what kind of thing you want out of this, because then you have to obviously make the shoreline more of a clay area for you. And I feel like that's okay. What really isn't super interesting is this military pathing. These forts never got bugged, as far as I could tell, because these obviously are fort block spots, right? You can put a fort here and block this side, so they have to take a path through the mountains and come here. This staircase is something you do block with a fort anyway, so I feel like I want to redesign this area a little bit. Could be some nice spots for some grand temples or something over here. Or for towers, obviously, if someone is so inclined to build that here, they could. If we connect that, I wouldn't hate it. We can still split it off. Let me check the music. It's not been playing. Yeah, because this track is somehow too long. There's no water up here except if you build on the low ground, of course. Still need to defend this, but that's usually you put a choke point here anyway, which is good. This area is always underutilized. So you can put some nympha or something here, or large temples if you wish so, but it feels like it's cramped too much. So let's expand this a little bit. Still a path around, you can then put some on the sides. It's good to use a couple of rocks. Now what this is gonna do is there are now plentiful other spots on the map where you should and could build monuments. This one is always where you just, it's kind of a no-brainer, where you end up putting a Grand Temple here, and it's, well, you can fit like 3 or 4 in here, and it's too much. This makes it slightly awkward to do that, and I think that's a good thing, because it makes you use more of the map, while at the same time this high ground, it still is something you could use. Obviously, you know, it isn't that great, but definitely could be some stuff in here. So it makes you use that land a bit more creatively, I feel like. We still want to keep this as the pretty obvious best Neptune temple spot for watering a large amount of area for your patricians. This water, it always makes it so that these houses on the side here cannot get watered, and I feel like it's okay because it makes you either consider doing that when you have Neptune epithet, or you just don't put houses there and you put services there. It makes a conscious decision for you to realize that, which is something that gets rewarding when you make the block in such a way that you utilize that. But obviously it can also be annoying where, oh, suddenly I can't do that because you didn't, you know, plan for the reservoir being right here and not like right here, which 2 tiles can make a difference if you can hug the houses here or not. So I will be keeping that aspect. Now for the start, I think I'm quite happy with how it usually ends up with regards to this. Regarding the farming island, we could trim back on the farmland a little bit so people are more inclined to use this area as well. And provide even more obvious spots for some workshops, which reducing farmland isn't always a bad thing, because then it makes you feel like you are not wasting it by building workshops in here. Because if this was all fertile land, like, yeah, great, then people don't use this, but more importantly, it will always feel like, oh, I don't want to build on that fertile land to make the workshops. So in this manner, we can kind of make sure that it doesn't feel so awful. These rocks are slightly too evil. Let's remove them. This is good for fishing. You can put a granary as well as a bunch of wharves in here. If anything, I would move this fishing point a little. Make the fish slightly less insane. This rock right here, it makes you think about the docks. I like that. What I don't like is that it makes you utilize that exploit with the corner passing, so I will remove that rock. What I might do instead is put a rock here instead to make you think about warehouses instead, because it's in the middle. It's the best warehouse spot. I know, evil, yes, but also galaxy brain. Makes you feel like a galaxy brain when you figure it out. And there is a way to still fit that. But it's no longer gonna be on that little corner, which makes you kind of make the disconnected thing go all the way around and then cut it on purpose to people can traverse, which is an exploit. With the ships, I've been thinking about potentially making that a little less crazy. Like, I would like the ships to enter from here instead, because there are no dock spots that you could use here anyway, right? So this is, I don't know, you could put them on the island, I guess. But I want this to be the best island for trade, obviously. But we do kind of want the river trade to be at least a little more pronounced. So I feel like adding that entry point here is actually something that would make sense. Hopefully that's gonna result in some nice flotsam pathing. Now, in regards to the other areas, I think it's fine. What I would do is add a little smaller rock formation here, just to fuck with that and the Grand Temple spot, and make you use the other areas of the map instead. Because you can still fit some, but not all the Grand Temples here, and I feel like that's a good thing. If anything, we could do like a little secret water area for some clay. Potentially. But, nah, it's fine. Amount of war spots is quite good. I've seen people put a dock here though, which I don't like. It's also not a good spot for it, so it's a bit deceiving. So I'd rather do something like this. This area in general is a bit narrow for a good block. I'll expand it slightly, but nothing crazy. Put a bit more of a service back here, which I feel like is good. Without, you know, completely trivializing that. This little corner, I always use it for the actors colony for these two, I think. And also pottery around here, which is pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily change that. Now, if this becomes the main military choke point though, perhaps it wouldn't be the worst idea to expand this just slightly. People also do put a block here usually, but this should be okay. To at least give that a little bit of a buffer, so you can still fit maybe one tower comfortably. And I might actually do this. This is more of a, I don't know how I would call it. More of an aggressive change, I guess, with the terrain. But I do believe that it would be beneficial to have this as a shortcut you can utilize for logistics. So if oxen keep coming to the trade area, right? They divert, and then they need to go out down. But they can also go down this way. If you build a highway here, connect it, they can do that. Plus your water stretches only around here, so it's not like you would put houses here natively. Be happy with this. We could also dick around with the events, obviously. I don't know if I want to. I feel like Masilia's pretty good as it is. The only thing I've seen is that some people are a little bit slow, and then the marble prices can get really ahead of them. So what I would do is front load those discounts. And then increase the increases. So that feels more natural as you play, it gets harder. Not the other way around, where it starts relatively high already. This way you can import some early game and it will feel better to get rewarded for that. You just need to make sure that it does rise considerably overall. Is there ever a period without significant increases? There's 3 years in here. I'd like to add 15 price rise on marble. And stone. So we front load the discount so that early game you can build those monuments for the objective better. Especially if you have some you know, forward thinking and you read the intro well. Money wise, I feel like the starting conditions are okay. It starts with decent amount of money because you are supposed to be using that. If anything, I might raise the rescue funds a little. The invasions never get past 100, which is what we should keep. Probably lowering the goal to 17 50 is not a bad idea either. I was thinking we could add some other events, but these are usually with events that we can make, these vanilla kinds of events, they aren't super interesting or well liked, or really they don't have much of an impact whatsoever. So it doesn't seem like we should tinker with that much. And honestly, Gladiator Revolt is just annoying. Earthquake probably as well. I could figure out how to make it annoying, but and not crashing obviously, but I don't want to add an earthquake, I don't think. So we've done some light changes to this. I feel overall it's an improvement of the design. We could obviously still streamline some areas. But I might just add a couple of trees to this. Next up, Miletus. Yes. Event for taking away fish is somehow bugged. Honestly, it did lead to some confusion. Some people tried to make fruit for all the plebs on Miletus, which is, you know, it's not a good idea if you really think about it. Yeah, I think you should figure out why. But yeah, that event does kind of push those people towards it. Also, I think I've been testing the monuments placement on this one, and then I saved it, so let's remove these. They're not supposed to exist. So fish event, which kind of event is it? I might keep it. It's pretty okay. Just need to figure out which event it is. It is, but it's an early map, so you know, you don't know what I've seen. As I said, I've seen people who try to do fruit for all the people, which is your very limited farmland on this map, where you are supposed to fish. There's abundant fishing, and the fruit isn't nearly as good. Plus, there isn't, you know, the farmland is kind of valuable. So, yeah. But yes, it is easy. I would consider most of the RC maps too easy, but that's just how it is. Fish. Rot. What was that? Health. Yeah, I guess. I know about that, but it's usually not a factor. It's event 8. Every month 8. Is that what it's supposed to do? Need to check. I need to open my BSC. There you go, Miletus. File. Oh, where is it? I haven't used this in a while. View, world wrap. There you go. Yeah, it's supposed to be 8. So that event checks out actually. I also am kind of dumbfounded that a lot of people don't seem to realize that this is like your best block area. Plus you can have another one tied to it pretty easily. And you can still have a highway if you want to import wheat. But a lot of people start to build here. Which, yes, like it's the best area, but wouldn't you want this for your patricians? I guess the map is kind of tiny, which makes it scary. So we did remove that invasion point, which obviously makes this whole area a lot easier to work with. This upper area, I feel like we could make it simpler to add more farming, but it's kind of not supposed to support many. It's supposed to be for your local oil consumption, really, same as this area, which that serves it pretty well. Don't quite like how this cliff is. So I might just do that instead. And then this, this farm up here, you can't usually use it because that's not a tile. So that single-handedly cripples that. So if we do that, that's gonna make it better. And down here, what you should do is remove some of the farmland so that it's more clear that you could, in fact, use this for defenses. Maybe you should. You know, obviously the military on this one is simple enough as it is. Yeah, it is. I'd like to move that staircase. Or make that a little more pronounced. Still fit a block here. I will move this rock. This is slightly too narrow usually, but it's kind of on purpose. So I don't want to trivialize this, obviously. What we might do is simplify some of these industry layouts. There's plenty to mine from, so this will just make it a little less awkward to build around. If someone does decide for whatever reason that this is just your perfect Forest Volker autism block, then you can, I guess, go ahead. Let's get this. In regards to the farmland, we've already simplified it before. It does fit more farms now, and there's less rocks. Yeah, I don't know who in the universe would possibly be mad enough to do that. Am I right? No, certainly don't know about anyone like that. So must import wheat early game. Didn't say anything. Right. Yeah, I don't want to trivialize that. I could, in fact, make this like a little rock in the middle so we can wrap the farms around it, which I feel like would be more rewarding. Yeah, he did that. He did the Forest Volkers here, around the lake, and here. He had the markets right here. He got wheat imports early game without a highway or caravanserai or market or Mercury Temple, which he only built later, obviously. But he was dumbfounded. Oh, how could I improve the quota? It's not enough. Well, there are ways to do that. It's just the the mod. Play the mod. Play with the tools it teaches you to use. That's how you figure out the quota. But he did in the end, which is good. That's what I want him to do, is to use the things in the mod. Which is the solution to anything ever. So like, why wouldn't you do that? I don't feel like that needs to be said even, but whatever. Islands. There are some cosmetic islands still. This one, mainly. Am I right? Yeah, but like... why would you use it? It's just here for... so it doesn't look so empty. But I guess the bridges here are a little bit hard for some people to figure out. You're supposed to bridge over from this, but if you do want to bridge over from here, you can. That tile is annoying. Another war spot, eh? Might as well keep it. The fish points specifically... there are none here, which is where a lot of people do put their fishing industry. put a 6 around here instead. I feel like the 3 could be moved. Oh, the far worst thing he did though was the first Walker block was built on top of these 2 dock spots. And 3, I guess. These are the best dock spots on the map. What I would like to do is to somehow show that. Hopefully that's enough of a hint. I don't know what to do. This is just someone would do that. I never even conceived that would happen. Because like you have so many places to build. Why would you put that here? But whatever. Because a lot of people who play sandbox maps, they're not used to like using the corners or anything, so they usually don't see this as a good place because oh, it's on the, like out of the way or whatever. But no, it's like you need to look for where you would potentially use areas that have the most flatland. Same as this, like this is a really good block site. It's just that people, I don't know why, to people like Zach, it doesn't occur that this in fact is very good block site. It's close to the entry, it's very flat, it has 2 rocks in it. Okay, whatever, you can still fit a really simple block in here. Otherwise, the Empire change. There's an Empire change. I just need to find it. This. We need to increase that population count. Also, invasions. We need to do something with this. Slight increase, it's 2 extra enemies, but I think that's warranted because the military on this one is so bloody simple. It's really, it doesn't pose any kind of challenge. So distant battle, no, just make it regular attack. Yeah, 64 is where it caps at, and that's how it should be. We want to increase the ceiling, but the ramping up should be slightly, very slightly faster or larger, which I feel like is good. With the win criteria, we got 85 prosperity. I mean, it's really not difficult, but yeah, I think Miletus is fine as it is. I cannot get it below 80 because, or 80 because then people would be able to beat it with Grand Insula, and this is the first map where you should make patricians. If anything, I might just remove a couple of rocks around the lake. This obviously gonna make fitting an extra bunch of people easier, because I've seen people struggle on the map. So hopefully that helps. I never put a block here, but I conceivably see a really good one here, if you need to. And that's good. I want options. I don't want everyone to build the same stuff, right? So giving extra stuff is vital for the RC. On the islands themselves, I've seen people put docks here. I could block all the dock spots. I blocked some of them. But it is more of a rescue thing. Like, if you do fuck up, then you could conceivably put 2 docks side by side over here, which is not the greatest, but it is something that could work. What I might do is reduce this rock a little so that you can still fit decent warehouses around here. And yes, easier it is making it easier for sure. But once again, kind of needed, obviously, because some people do still struggle. Let's try to make this water a little better. I think I'll like that more. Okay, Miletus, save it. Next change. Double check requests on some maps. I don't know which one I meant. Cartago Forum replacement unlocks. Yeah, we should do that. Lindum wall punishment? Question mark. Valentia increase corruption. Yeah, we need to do Valentia and Tingis balancing. Also, medium statues and pawns should unlock on Masilia. We just did Masilia, but I want to go and do the changes I'm supposed to do right away. Otherwise I'm gonna forget. An event for statues. Western Gladiator, Senator, Goddess. Pond. What else was that? Medium statues. Yeah, I must have missed a medium one. The late game requests also repeat quite often. But the requests. I don't think we should increase that. It's fine. We could also repeat from this. We could repeat from this screen. Now we don't need to set up a repeat events, but since I have the infrastructure for that already, I don't think I'll be changing that because it would require double the work. There is a mistake in Masilia messages. Might change that. One L, that's fixed. Switch the music, this is bad, brothers, it's annoying. Just go do Age Mythology. Okay, save, import. Next. Lindum wall punishment. If I feel like it should be optional. Like, yeah, you do get favor actions, but you can still survive on Lindum without building the wall. And I feel like it's probably up to you. Like, it shouldn't be necessary. What I do need to do though on Lindum is to add gold imports because it's annoying to make the mint practically just for that. And it's not a big deal at all, it's just that people generally don't like that event. So let's change it. Looking for Lindum. Let's check the Empire. It's map 19 Empire. Should add it to one of the expensive trade routes. It's a bit cramped as well, especially with the sidebar, but the sidebar shouldn't block things. There is a issue with Damascus, where the Far East trade route is cut off a little. Hadrian's Wall has been adjusted. There should be gold import possible from Burdigala now. So that's a thing you can do without the mint being a thing. What is the price on gold? $8.75. You should increase that. If you don't want to mint, you can just, you know, pay insane money to import it. That's fine. We need to modify this, make it into a save because of the bridges. Initially, would I want to change something about this? It's the better question. Not a huge fan of this cliff, to be honest. Make it a little more streamlined. Just gonna put some furniture industry or the likes. Otherwise, the fort blocks. On this one, I haven't seen this being a problem, but it could be. Where do natives path through that? Do have more native stuff. On this one, it would kind of make sense to use some of the new native stuff for some events. However, it really depends. Because we already have the stone circle stuff. I would probably then, you know, tear down the native thing with the crush event. Or just find a spot that's not super used and then put that in there. I feel like in this middle clearing it could be pretty good. It makes you consider better block sites, because usually what I do is I put the city here and then most of the population is crammed in here and never use most of this. So personally I think that it would benefit the map to have some kind of variety by using some of the native stuff. Yeah, it does. So you are encouraged to work with it as opposed to against it. Would love a native palisade, but we don't have that yet. I shouldn't put the huts, the new ones, in where the enemies will be raised, but we'll put them in other areas. Like a bit of variety. Anything that feels excessive. We already simplified this farming area before in the previous patch. I've seen someone use this as a wall-off against the invaders from here. I thought it was creative, but also you do suffer for not having the farmland available as much as you could. But at the same time, there's usually enough on the map, especially with this. I think I'm okay with it, even though it was not intended, obviously. Could use another monument on the map, but one seems like it's good enough. I still don't know what to do with this invasion point access, because it is and can be trivialized, and it's built to be trivialized with fort blocks. We could make it not the case, we could move it, we could redesign it. I'm not sure what I want to do with it exactly, but what I do know is that this area is very hard to utilize. Hello Jake, welcome. Good day to you as well. They are very nice. Look at it, Jake. Look at it in despair. Yes, we have natives at home, honey, but what if we had second natives, huh? Yes, we have more natives. Also, we have the little, I don't know, menhir thing. And then we also have another thing, and that is this. Do you see it, Jake? Do you see it? It's glorious, isn't it? Also this hut. You see this hut? It's different. It's a different hut. Also, we have a different hut on... let me check. Just change this. Yeah, different kind of hut. And the monument... For the natives, the other monument, you see that it's like an obelisk for the natives, and then you have the pyramids. And then also we have... where is this? Central. So, you know. It's like an Etruscan or other Kurgan or whatever you want to call it, burial mound. And some statues and some watchtowers. And then we also have the variation of the hut. We also will have Greek or Etruscan or similar buildings for natives. Eventually. But yeah, that's what this is. Northern. Let's switch, check this. Oh, it spawned stuff. Oh, that shouldn't have... Why did it do that? It just randomly decided to spawn a bunch of nonsense I did not add. It might be a bug in the editor. Let's save again. See what happens when I switch the climate. Yeah, it generates extra. I'm gonna have to report that. Gonna have to put down a save. I'm gonna just make a screenshot for them as well. And of course it persists on a save load as well. I'm gonna make a save. Yeah, it did. I was curious, like, why is this here? Did I put it here? I must have. No, I didn't. Okay. Let's hope that does not persist. Anything I want to change? Maybe you need to build this as a save because of the bridges. Oh, thanks. I might have not noticed. Yeah. No, I want 2. I want 2, not 3. The small ones. There were 2, not 3. We could encourage this shortcut a bit more. Because it is very good already, but I'd like it to be even better. I don't know, I feel like these are the ones I wanted because they have the road next to it. Don't think so. I think these are the ones I wanted. This cliff always feels like it's super empty, by the way. Yeah, I feel like it adds a little bit of variety. I don't want to go too heavy on that, though. Like, a single thing like this is probably gonna make people go, ah, that's new, neat. But if it's too much, it might be annoying. And also, just, you know, it has its own implications not to build this everywhere. But adding a little bit, it feels good to add to this map specifically. I need to figure out what I want to do with this. Oh yeah, I was talking about this farmland being super hard to utilize when you clear it with the native clear event. So I have an idea. which I feel like would be beneficial. Now we need to figure out how do we want to handle this high ground. I kind of liked it when it wasn't completely safe, but there is a concern with the fort block thing, so I'd rather make sure that it can be used. So widen that a little. This should free up some of your forts, plus it makes the choke point much narrower. You can use this now without too much of a concern if you do wish to. If anything, I would probably add a couple of rocks to this. Like so. In regards to the water, you need to really strategize if you want to use the water well, and I do like the aspect of Lindum. Because you want loads of clay, you want loads of sand, and then you want to also bring water inland, and there is this farmland plus wharfs. So this is your water access to this area in general. If you want to bring water anywhere here, you want to do it from one of these places, and either it's your farmland, or it's your wharfs, or it's your clay. Hello, Hikin, welcome. So I would keep that, but what we could do is reduce the width of this cliff a little bit. And I don't like how this looks much. Much better. This cliff, maybe make it a tiny little more awkward. There are rocks for mining here. I do often mine from this. So I might add a little extra outcrop there. These natives, I'm not happy with how they are. So if possible, I would make it a little better. Even at the expense of buildable space down there. Yeah, but they aren't spawning any native guards yet. They are just a cosmetic thing. They do have undesirability around them, but they don't do anything much just yet. But not just that. Look at that. But you've seen this before. Those are pyramids. Wow, yes. be kind of cool to have also a native wharf or a pasture or things of that nature. You need to get back into the art mines so you can... Yeah. You just don't know it yet, but starting tomorrow you start a new life. You are starting a whole new life. It's not kidnapping, because we don't say that word around here. However, the mod needs work, and you just happen to be the person for it, and it's a great opportunity. So, you know, I would advise you to pack a lot of things. This you might be in the mines for a while. Just say. Few years. Yeah, you can put it on your resume. It's great. I feel like we should provide water in here for this high ground. But I kind of like how this looks, even though it's a bit cursed. If I do put a water down here, I need to 1, 2, 3. That is wide enough for reservoir potentially, and I would like to it to feel like just absolute rocket science when we figure this one out. But we'll need to make sure that that rock doesn't exist, so that you can do a aqueduct like so. This, I still don't know about this tree line. I feel like it's fine. We do need to create a save out of this though. Let's go ahead and do that. Because otherwise I know I will forget. No problem. Good night. Miletus, see you around. Bye. It didn't bug out the natives. They don't have risks. But they do provide desirability, right? If you unpause, yep. What about the tower? I suspect it also doesn't really do that. This hut does cover the low ground though, which is a bit cheesy. But I don't feel like moving it back. Paint. I guess. No, there should be a native risk setting for the map maker to set these buildings to accumulate or spread native risk. But I'll play a different part once we hit a native rework. It's just, I don't know when that's gonna happen, because no one knows that. Pyramid? Yeah. Just a nice little backyard decoration. Something to discuss with your neighbors while you trim your lawn. Oh yeah, Mario would love the natives. Absolutely. Let's go for... I wanted to do Tingis, and what's the other map we want to change? Valentia. Yeah, Valentia needs to be changed. That is right. Yeah, it's like the British Museum just stealing shit from the natives. Corruption. We should tie to population. There is the cooldown on this one. And then add a global one. The music, this is Age of Mythology. It's good for when you work on something. I like video game music. And I feel like Age of Mythology has got a really good soundtrack. It's better than, say, Age of Empires, which Age of Empires is solid, but Age of Mythology just has much better vibe. It's this. The other condition doesn't need to exist. Oh no, we do need a condition actually. City money. some variation to that. And this is important and necessary because the map is way too easy right now, and it makes people not utilize all of the possible trade. You can beat out even using any of the sea trade. Hopefully, this is gonna add an element of that. So additionally, Valentia, what have I seen people do here that I didn't quite like? It's kind of all over the place. This rock could be removed. It is already a pretty good monument building site, but I feel like I might encourage a bit more, you know, someone might put a block here. I've seen that. I've also seen mass trade produced here. I don't hate that, I don't think. So we should probably remove this one cliff. Instead, add a rock in the middle. Also, while I'm on this, might as well make a screenshot of the bugged buttons. I'm gonna add a new bug report. Okay, we did add a little bit of corruption, that's fine. What we might want to do is adjust a little bit of terrain again. Depends what we want to encourage. I feel like these islands are being used pretty well already. We might want to expand that a little, but it depends how we want to achieve that. What I think is adding a bit more width to this one so we can do this would be kind of neat. Then this cannot allow ship's passage, but that's generally fine. Although the wharves here aren't super efficient or anything. A little bit of variety with the bushes is fine. There's a consideration with the rocks. They sometimes can feel a little bit oppressive over here because of the main trade center needs to go around here. I would remove this rock, making it a little bit better in that regard. It will make it easier, obviously, but I feel like it's fine. Even though this map doesn't need to be easier, it in fact is already pretty easy. If anything, I would probably like to add some more logistics, meaning removing this staircase would mean you need more depots to funnel the food in, unless you do mass fish, and I feel like that would be a good change to have. Plus this cliff looks really cursed. I don't like how this looks, but there is not a better way to really do that. What if we did that? Cliff is too straight. This cliff kinda needs to be like this. I'll probably clean this main area up a little bit from the trees. The reason being, it's where everyone kind of starts, almost. And it's just an unnecessary clearing expense. We can still make it look a little bit natural, but not with this amount of trees. Contemplating this staircase. Highway can still fit if you want it there for any reason. Okay, a little bit of adjustment to terrain. Mostly done the improvements on the logistics and then the corruption, so slightly harder on some, in some regards, easier in others. Let's check Tingis. Tingis. I don't know. I feel like Tingis is still a map that's could be more. It's more of a sandbox map. Even in Reconquer, it's one of the easier maps. I know that some people like that though. So probably not gonna make any drastic changes, but I believe we should adjust it in some manner. Don't quite like the middle farming area. I think it could be improved. This cliff area like 2 farms here. If you want to maximize this area, it does need some farm Tetris. Here, we need to change this. That is usually this, which almost never gets used. For the intended purpose, that is. Slightly easier to place some forts in here. Or a cursed block if you want to, I guess. But we should be making the map a bit harder, not easier. I feel like this does make it harder. You can fit something in here, but you need to think about water, and it could be monuments. You could put some monuments here, but it will at least look kind of good when you have blocks and an inner sort of area separate. This farmland here also, I feel like makes things quite trivial, but it's fine. This cliff specifically, I've seen some patricians or something in here recently. This cliff, I could expand it. I could. Even if slightly. I feel like that looks much better. I don't know why, but this map doesn't feel like I did my best with the terraining. Maybe it's because it's fucking Tingis and it's just not my favorite map to begin with. But maybe we should aim to correct that. Make it logistically connected, which is gonna simplify the farming logistics in this area quite a lot, but I feel like it might be appreciated. And this cliff does look pretty cursed. So I'll remodel that. feel like this area right here could use a tiny bit of an improvement. Yeah, we are not supposed to be making the map easier, by the way. We are supposed to make it harder, because it's way too easy right now. But I like to take and give. So it's not just, oh, now suddenly there is like a whole bunch of stuff in the way. No, maybe sometimes, but not everywhere. And the areas that don't feel natural, I do want to keep better. So, you know, that should be the design philosophy there. The water is quite easy because there is just ample dockland. I don't hate that on this map though, as it should kind of make you just think a little bit about the sea trade, but nothing crazy. I think that helps the shape of the river to feel less artificial. I'll remove one of those rocks. This staircase right here, I mean, it works, it just looks super wonky. But a path through the rocks is fine, as long as it looks kind of neat. You know, I liked that you could put like an empire down here. Or a reservoir, so I'll keep that open. Could we do something here with the rocks? Doesn't necessarily look the greatest. I think this will do though. You can still put like an empire in there if you want. I'm getting a little sleepy, by the way. This is season 3. Editor. With the Augustus mod. As the title of the stream says. Bridging spots still ample. Let's make it look a little neater. Feel like we improved it overall, especially the cliff features. A little bit of touch-ups on the water. There is still the concern of the map being super easy militarily as well as economically though. With the food situation, you will need to transport some of it from further away, so that's extra logistics, but not too many. Extra depots. We'll have to figure out what we want to do to make it harder. A little bit, not extremely, but some touch-ups. Don't much like this general area in here. Clean that up a little bit. I feel like that looks better. This farmland in general, I would like to make it more pronounced. give the map a bit more distinguished feel. With it feels better building on like a concentrated farmland. It can look weird though, so hopefully we manage to achieve some sort of consistency with that. Okay. We've had plenty of that. Contemplating moving this rock, but I feel like it plays a vital role in using this area well, and I like when you at least have to think a little bit. Economically. Let's take a look. Let's add some late game price changes. Next up, we did Tingis, Valentia. We need to change something else. I need to take a look at my notes again. Oh yeah, I need to do the German mutation as well. Oh, that's gonna be annoying to set up. But I should do that. Maybe tomorrow, if I get the time for it. It's gonna be super annoying though, but it should be done. Tingis, we have a request for force and invasion happen at the same time in 49 BC. Battle, enemy army, yep. This one, probably. There's not enough of a buffer. It could happen that you get a request and then you get attacked. Plus there is an invasion at the same time. How many other distant battles are there? 4. Reschedule that. This map could use some more events, but I don't feel like adding them, especially not today. There's no need to release this today. We could wait a little bit. But I feel like we've improved the terrain, especially on this one. Just save. Oh yeah, Valentia needs gap in between the messages. I'm gonna adjust that tomorrow though. It's late. It's almost midnight. I think we'll leave it here. We'll probably do some more tweaking tomorrow if I feel like it. I could do some of it off stream, obviously. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it was a little bit interesting taking a peek into my head when I, tweak things. Anyhow, see you around. Bye.